Today we're gonna be making arroz con salchicha, which is basically like rice mixed with Vienna sausage. So let me tell you what we're gonna need. Small cans of Dolipi's Vienna sausage. You're gonna need some oil. You're gonna need some tomato sauce. You're gonna need some sazón Goya con achote y culantro. You're gonna need some sofrito. Sofrito, if you don't know what it is, base that we start all Puerto Rican food. If you don't know how to make it, you can refer back to one of my old videos. It says Sofrito 101 and I show you how to make it. It's very easy to make. You're also gonna need some oil and you're gonna need these spices. So this is chicken bouillon. This is some adobo. I used about a tablespoon and a half, or about a tablespoon of, no, that's about a tablespoon of the chicken bouillon. This is about a teaspoon of adobo. This is about half a teaspoon of oregano. I happen to use Dominican oregano, that's ground oregano. This is a teaspoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of garlic powder. So now, and you're also gonna need some rice. This small amount, I'm probably gonna make 2 to 3 cups of rice. And we'll come back and I'll show you how I get started. I put my caldero on. This is a small one actually. About 2 teaspoons of oil. So you open up your Vienna sausage cans. You're gonna need like a plate or something on the side. Empty the Vienna water into a plate. I should have showed you this separately. Eat more easily. So maybe this is probably flame a little lower. Don't throw that water away from the Vienna sausage can. You always keep that water. You never want to throw it away because you're going to use that water when you add, before you add your rice. All the flavor is there. You're just going to brown your Vienna sausages. And you don't want them to burn, but you do want them to brown. So we'll just stir them, and you'll see how some of them will start to get a little color on them. You'll just keep stirring them around. I just want them to get some color on them and kind of brown around the edges. Now, before I take them out, you're going to want another little plate because you're going to take these out. This is good. We're going to take out the sausages. So you're going to add a little more oil to this. While the oil is heating up. This is like my 3 tablespoons of sofrito. It already made a difference in smell. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. These are all our spices. You're going to use like half of the can of the Goya tomato sauce. And you're going to use a full packet of the sazón Goya con achote y culantro. Alright, now you're going to stir this. You're going to make sure you get everything that's stuck to the bottom. You might have little pieces of the Vienna sausage still stuck to the bottom. And you're going to try and pick them up. So what we're doing now is we're letting it sofreír. We're letting it cook. Okay, so we're letting it sofreír. So this is what it should look like. I really let it cook. Now we're going to add the Vienna sausage back. We're going to stir it. Sometimes I take the Vienna sausage and I'll cut them in half before I put them in. What happens is sometimes when you start turning your rice, they start to break apart anyway. But I don't like to always see them like that, so I'll cut them in half. And my daughter likes them, so this is just for her, so I'm cutting them in half. Now, I'm going to add the Vienna juice water to it. Remember, we didn't throw that Vienna juice water away. So I want to say this is about a cup of water already, of some sort of liquid, or a cup and a quarter, cup and a half. So I'm gonna go and add some more water to this. Oh, I'm gonna add about another cup and a half of water. I'm gonna add about another cup and a half of water to this. I forgot to tell you we need some salt. Now, I would tell you how much salt to add, but everyone uses different salts. So you're gonna go by your measurements of salt and see what your water will cover. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cover this, let it boil. Once it starts to boil, we're gonna add our rice. Now I'm gonna go over and wash my rice. So now the water is boiling. These are already, you know, cooked anyway, regardless. So now we can add our rice. I washed about 3 cups of rice. I have a trick to washing rice. I wash my rice with very hot water. So like it starts to cook beforehand with that very hot water. And I thoroughly wash my rice. Okay. Let me lower the heat a little bit. I'm gonna make sure I have enough. Everybody's rice is different, and I know your measurements go depending on the kind of rice you use. Like I'm thinking I have too much water in here right now, so sometimes that happens. I try to go off of eyeballing it instead of measuring it. What I do sometimes is, if I do that, I would raise the heat and I would start to let it come down. So I'm going to show you what I do. See, it's not a lot. I would just leave the heat up. This is what I noticed some people do that I've seen. They start to let it boil down. And what they do is they would keep stirring it and pulling it from the sides. I'm going to show you what I mean when I start to see it boil down, and I'll come back. So this is what I mean. If you raise the heat, like if you put a little too much water and you raise the heat, see how I already started to reduce? And if I would have done this from the beginning, then it would have been perfect, and I would just put the lid on it, right? But now that I had to boil all that excess water, now I would lower the heat very low and just put the lid on it. I would just make sure that I stirred it, that it doesn't stick to the sides, and I try to put my Vienna sausage more towards the middle so that they don't get stuck to the sides. Now I'm going to put the cover on it, leave it very low, and I'm going to show you when I come back. I'm going to put this on it, some aluminum foil. There's a trick I learned from my grandmother. That's like an old school trick to keep the vapor inside. Keep the lid tight. Lower your heat very low. And then we'll come back in about 20 minutes or so, and we'll give it a turn. So we're back and we're ready to uncover and see what the rice looks like. Be careful, this is very hot. So we still have the rice on very low. Yep, and it still came out good. So we're gonna pull it from the sides. This is a very small pot, and the rice grew a lot in it. So what we'll do is, yeah, I can still see that it is a little hard. I can feel it when I turn it in certain places. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it back on top, cover it back up, try and seal it one more time, and then we're gonna leave it another 10 or so minutes. So we just want to seal it up. And I'll show you once it's all done. Perfect. So this is perfect rice. I'm gonna put it on a plate so you guys can see what it looks like. This is our finished product. Put it on a plate, and it came out absolutely perfect. That's the way it should be, nice and fluffy and grainy. I hope you guys like this recipe. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.